Hi and welcome everyone to today's presentation of Studsvik. My name is Stefan Knutsson. I'm an equity analyst here at ABG covering the service sector and also Studsvik as a company. And with me today I have CEO Camilla Hoflund. Welcome.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Stefan, good afternoon. As Stefan mentioned, my name is Camilla Hoflund and I'm CEO of Studsvik. And together with me today I have our CFO, Niklas Karlsson, that will help me with questions. We are very excited to attend the ABG Investor Days and to introduce Studsvik for you. We will talk about who we are, what we want, how we want to make it, what has been achieved so far, and the future direction. The company. Studsvik is a global company and listed at Nasdaq Small Cap. In 2020, we made a net sales of 722 million SEK. Studsvik has roughly 500 employees based in Sweden, Germany, UK, Switzerland, Japan, and China. Our vision, making it easy to benefit from clean nuclear energy, support a large sustainable goal of reducing fossil energy sources, where nuclear power is an important mix in the energy mixes. Studsvik's mission to support this goal is to support our customers with solutions of complex problems. And we combine our experience with innovative skills to find the best and most efficient solutions. And we are also in the front end of R&D. For examples, we work with small modular reactors, SMRs. Studsvik's strength as a company is our independency. We are an independent organization operating on a very global market with a strong brand. We operate also with our own facilities. So we have a great knowledge and experience of what the nuclear industry need to do from a sustainable point of view. And also our business model is very versatile. Our customers are represented by the 4 groups of nuclear power utilities, fuel vendors, research organizations, and also regulators. Our customers are represented very globally, and the main market is Europe with Germany and Sweden as number 1 and 2, followed by North America and Asia. Over time, we expect a little bit more growth in Asia, but this is the mix, and we expect the mix to be quite stable over time. In addition, we are expanding beyond nuclear with radioisotope industry, and we use our extensive experience of handling very highly irradiated material and have a production line in our facility in Sweden where we produce isotope sets. And our main customer today is Elekta, and we produce radioisotope sets for the gamma knife that is used for cancer therapy. Coming from a very challenging 2019 with a lot of turnarounds activities, and we have big changes in 2 business areas, decommissioning and radiation protection services, where we had a lot of initiatives to change the operation and to make it profitable. And also in previous what we call consultancy, where we streamlined the focus to focus really on waste, and today it's called waste management technology. And we have seen success of the changes we did in 2020, and we think that we are on a stable way forward. And this is our goal, to have a good stability and continuous improvements in our performance. And finally, who we are, let me just share this picture with the executive management team. And we are based in Germany, Sweden, and US. If we move to what we want, These are 3 external financial goals, not just these 3 goals are our goals, but these are the financial goals. So we want to have a 10% growth. We want to have an operating margin of 8% and a solidity of 40%. And we will come back a little bit later on how we are trending. How to make it? In this picture, you can see the power life cycle divided into 4 different phases: new build, reactor operation, decommissioning, and final disposal. And in the inner part of this circle, you can see our 4 different business areas. And you might notice that many of the business areas actually cover most of the life cycle of the nuclear power. And we will come back to each of the business areas on the upcoming slides. And let me start with decommissioning and radiation protection services. This is a people business, and our main market is Germany, followed by Switzerland, Belgium, and Holland. We do planning, documentation, measurements, free-release measurements, and of course also engineering and supervising. We also have developed an efficient and safe dismantling concept that we see as a key moving forward, where Germany is going to shut down all the reactors in next year, 2022, and where we are prepared with our business area to meet that change and to bridge over our people into the dismantling part instead. Fuel and materials technology, an international laboratory, has techniques, methods developed in our own regime to qualify materials, fuel, to support licensing processes, as well as qualifying different and new materials. We are also supporting plant aging management, lifetime extensions, as well as conditioning special treatment of spent fuel in smaller portions, where we can stabilize the fuel and prepare it for interim and final storage. And we have for more than 40 years worked on the Swedish R&D program for final disposal. Fuel and materials is unique in our position on the market. We are the only one having this very global approach with customers on the international basis, and also a fully commercial laboratory. If we move to Scampower, our world-leading software, this software is for fuel design to make sure that you have both an efficient but also safe operation in the reactors. You can also monitor the fuel in the reactor, as well as have simulators and train the operators of how to maneuver the fuel operation. Also, this business area is moving into decommissioning area with optimization and spent fuel storage with our programs and applications. This is a world-leading software, and we have, for some of the softwares, almost 50% of the market. And of course, we are working on developing new applications, and with this highly international brand, we have a good way moving forward. Finally, our 4th business area, waste management technology, has efficient waste transformation that supports volume reduction. That is very good, both from financial point of view, but also from environmental point of view. And also we have technologies that support the environmental stabilization of the waste before it goes to interim and final storage. We support waste from today's operations, from research reactors, from legacy waste. So we have different technologies that really meet different criteria, like legal requirements, environmental requirements, but also cost and cost reductions and cost requirements. So these are all in all our 4 business areas. And if we summarize Studsvik success factors, we are quite a small company in our industry if we compare to our customers that usually are international and very large companies. This means also that to be successful, we need to be leader in our niche areas and have a leading position. So we invest quite a lot in technology development and competence. As this small company on the global scale, we need to have access to global decision makers and customers and create those relations to make sure that we have the attention of the decision makers. Also, a success has been to combine this innovation and experience and to make sure that we gain on the experience we had for more than 70 years, but also look into the future. What's the new technology? How can we use artificial intelligence, etc.? And to do all these things in our organization, where we want to have new thinking, new way of developing new solutions, we have to have a support from leaders and management that is very flexible and agile in our approach. That's a very key in our way forward. And then we move to what has been achieved. And you might remember we talked about our 3 financial goals. And if we look at the net sales, we can see that, yes, we see growth and a continuous growth development. Regarding operating margin, we are very close to the group target. And regarding solidity, we are in line with the group target. As well as also a positive trend on the cash flow. And all in all, of course, all those things together gives a strengthening when it comes to the financial development and financial position. And also a very, very nice thing is to see that after all these turnarounds and cost reductions and focus on changes and change management, we also start to see that we are building for sustainable business model and in our focus areas. And we are also increasing the number of staff now and employees. And this is mainly in fuel and materials technology, where we are also expecting to see a growth over time. If we finally talk a little bit about the future, we have some strategic key initiatives. And you might recall what we talked about, the 4 phases in the power life cycle. And here is actually key initiatives that represent each one of the 4 phases. One of the areas is, of course, the fuel testing and qualification, where we want to expand on the markets and expand with the customers that are investing in new fuel and new cladding. In software, we have our software and want to develop with cost-efficient fuel design and monitoring, and with new applications that makes it even more beneficial for our customers. We are also investing in the future and in the future strategy with new types of fuel, and also supporting new types of reactor concepts as the small modular reactors that are quite much in the news today. One very important thing is what we call the Competence Center, and through our international programs develop a network with competence and specialists that gives a lot of input to our technology and to our people of what is important and where we should focus in the future. Also, as mentioned, we have efficient and safe waste solutions and also for both for interim but also for final disposal. In decommissioning, we have concepts that we want to elaborate on and well prepared to meet the need and demand in Germany and Switzerland and the other German-speaking nearby countries. And of course, there is a lot of discussion now to expand the lifetime of the reactors. And we want to be a key part and a key competence in those programs and can also support with our experience of doing a lot of tests on the materials and the components from the future. Summarizing this, I want to thank you a lot for listening to this presentation and hand it over again to Stefan.
Thank you, Camilla, for the presentation. I will start off with the broader questions, and we have seen large price increases for electricity in Sweden and in Europe in general this winter. And some argue that politicians have been naive with the rapid closure of nuclear sites, for example. Has this discussion affected your business in any way?
I think in general, this business is so long-term, so it's usually not a very short-term impact. But of course, if we look into the future, we think this is very good, because then some of our customers will probably invest in new technologies and new materials, which also might impact us. But in the short term, it's not impacting us that much.
And just to continue on that path, we have seen, for example, Finland decide to build out a new nuclear facility. I think France also has a plan to expand their current nuclear output. Is this markets where you can have opportunities to enter?
Absolutely, and we have very good relations in many of these market close by Sweden and in Europe, and also the network for doing business. And we are, of course, in discussions also with customers, but I think in the very beginning of the phase, it might be more the software and the programs of the software that comes into the fuel design and optimization. And then a little bit later on the road, then it comes opportunities for fuel and materials technology, but also for waste management, because these new reactors have to have the waste concept in place very early on, and not just wait and take it later on. So I think those will give opportunities, even if it's not quick-moving business.
And if we go on to the decommissioning and radiation protection business area, where one of your larger market is Germany, there we have seen a rapid closure of nuclear sites, and I think the last one will close next year. How will this change your business that you conduct in this business area?
In the short term, not very much, actually, because a lot of these resources, competences that you have when the reactors are in operation will be needed quite many years after closing the reactors, because you still have the fuel in the reactor, and you have to have the same resources and pool of people supporting taking the fuel out and then, of course, starting the next phase. And also some of the competences is very similar that you will need also in the dismantling and decommissioning. So we have those kind of programs, internal training programs, to adapt the people to that situation.
And how long time span are we looking at here?
Oh, this is very long time span. and I don't even dare to guess for the customers, but I know that in general, every one of these closure takes so much longer time. And in Germany, there will be several customers at the same time. So I think there will be for, many 10 years to come.
And is it possible that they, prolong their nuclear sites in the last minute if they feel that they can't handle the energy situation, for example?
Principally, yes, I think that's possible, but I think it's a huge change to do. And if that's feasible, I can't really answer that. That's probably a question for the utility and the regulators in Germany. But of course, we would be prepared to adapt to that situation. So our business and the business we have within Studsvik is very flexible, independent actually on what we are doing. And also we have this situation with Switzerland, where Switzerland will have reactors in operation for quite a long time. So we also have some people working in Switzerland with reactors in operation, but also starting to enter Switzerland where they have the decommissioning. So we have quite a flexible market, so to say.
Perfect. And moving on to fuel and materials technology, where you have been successful at winning larger orders from countries such as Russia, China, and South Korea. Can you give us some more details on the work behind the scenes in order to be able to deliver on these orders when you approach a ramp up now?
Yes, it's fair to say that these are very long processes, and to get to the contract stage, it might be 4 years, 5 years sometimes. And of course, in parallel, you start to mobilize the facilities to be able to ramp up also the performance and the output. And there are a lot of initiatives going on in the organization where certain teams are looking into how can we increase the capacity, both from equipment and a method point of view, but also from recruit point of view. So the organization, business area Fuel and Materials Technology, have increased the number of employees with about 25% this year. So it's a quick ramp up to get people in and make sure you have the right training programs and have them practice on the right things, as well as then investing in equipment and facility and the things around the facility.
Just to follow up on that, is your hot cell capacity, is that something that might be a bottleneck for you in terms of how large order you can handle? Because I think it might be quite hard to receive a plan to extend those facilities, maybe.
Yeah, and that's a very good question. So that's also why we are diversifying a little bit our way of thinking, and to see that is there anything we are doing in the hot cell that is the core facility that we can do in some of the other facilities, because we have other facilities for radioactive testing and handling. So of course this is the main key one, and I would say maybe not the hot cell as such, but there might be certain parts in the hot cell that might be bottleneck. But these are also things that we have quite good pinpointed and are working on, and see how we can change that or improve the situation. And still today we are working daytime. So of course there are other alternatives to think about for the future. How can we increase the output from the facilities? Also these kind of initiatives, both the short term and the capacity increase right now, but also the longer term capacity increase, how can we do that? Both of those activities are ongoing.
Really interesting. And then just on Scandpower, you mentioned that it is a leading software business, yet the earnings can be a bit lumpy because of the nature where you conduct the business through licensing deals. Is this something that you can maybe go more towards a SaaS solution, or is that not possible?
We are looking into that, and that's part of the task that a new CEO for Scandpower has, to see how can we do with the business model. And I think probably that it won't be one size fits all. It probably will be a different variance, but we are of course trying to address that as well.
And just on the market share, Scandpower, I think it's roughly 50% market share in the current nuclear facilities. But can you say anything about how that compare in the US, for example, towards newer areas such as Asia and Middle East?
Of course, it's when we are talking about very high number of customers having our software, the main market is US, because that's where we have the base and started the development of Scandpower. So there are definitely spots and regions where actually no one has the software yet, such as Middle East, Eastern Europe for VV or reactors. And of course, we are looking into those markets as well to see if we can change. And then we have the core of the software has this high number of customers. But then we have applications where we don't have that high number. That is still a growing application that we can and that we are marketing for Scandpower.
Perfect, Camilla. Then I just want to finish with what will be your 3 key initiatives going into the next year.
Ooh, of course, I think in general, but maybe the leader will be Fuel and Materials Technology, to make sure that we actually meet the expectations, not only from ourselves, but from others. And then I think that we want to see a nice transit in Germany with the decommissioning, and I think we are well prepared to support that. And then I would like to see also some kind of market breakthrough when it comes to waste and waste technologies. That's maybe my 3 key initiatives.
Thank you. Then I would like to give a thank you for coming and presenting with us here at ABG.
Thank you very much. Thank you.